Narrator urgent hushed tone. What if your neighbor, the kindly grandmother next door, was quietly ending lives with a teaspoon? In a sleepy Hungarian village, for almost 2 decades, dozens, maybe hundreds of women disappeared, not by accident but by carefully administered poison. Welcome to Nagyrév. This is the story of the angel makers, women who became executioners in their own homes. Stay with me. You will not believe how far desperation, betrayal, and silence can drive a community. Describe Nagyrév, small riverside village in Hungary, early 1900s. Social conditions: poverty, patriarchy, isolation, high infant mortality, few rights for women. Introduce angel makers, women who, often together, began dispensing arsenic to kill husbands, unwanted bobbies, or troublesome relatives. Hint that authorities knew something. Whispers in the village, but no one spoke. Pause for a moment. Think about how society around you might harbor secrets, dark secrets. Share this story with one person who needs to know how silence can protect evil. Who started? Women like Susanna or Rosika or others, names can be adapted, who began with small acts, poisoning an abusive husband. The method: arsenic discreet, easily disguised. How they obtained the poison: white arsenic, reputedly sold as rat poison. Someone falls ill, doctor baffled. Nobody suspects the one cooking his meals. If this story chills you, hit like or share subscribe. Because what's coming next is worse. The pattern, the cover-ups, the betrayals. More women join, the network builds. Bobbies disappear, elderly relatives die of illness. Community reaction: some suspect, many silent, fear and gossip spread. A child's death blamed on influenza, but mother quietly thankful. Someone starts keeping count. Engage, drop a comment. What would you do if you suspected someone close was killing? Would you speak up or stay silent? We'll return to that. Poverty, oppressive marriages, verbal physical abuse. No legal recourse. Women had virtually no power. Extra high cost of dowries, children, widows with no support. One woman reveals her motive in a secret confession, maybe a letter lost in the river. Think, can desperation justify murder? Would you empathize or condemn? Tell me below, because understanding motive doesn't excuse the monstrous. Midwives dispense poison, deliver bobbies, cover up deaths. Accomplices: sometimes church officials, sometimes local healers. Rumors circulate, some suspicious records, but proof is missing. One midwife keeps a ledger. Someone almost sees it, but she destroys it. If you find this chilling, share the video article to keep the memory alive, lest history repeats. Estimates diverge, dozens, possibly hundreds dead. Rumors reach neighboring towns. Families suspect but no formal charges. Authorities start to hear whispers. Sentiment that someone is keeping silent files. Someone has counted more deaths than official record. Pause, imagine being in that village. Who would you trust? If you saw something, would you speak? Share this to push back on silence. Perhaps doctors, police, or regional officials start investigating odd clusters of deaths. Forensic limits. In 1910s, 20s, poisoning is hard to prove, autopsies rare, arsenic tests rudimentary. Families pressured to confess, some do. A doctor collects hair samples, but jars break, evidence destroyed. Stay tuned. I'll tell you in a minute how authorities botched, or maybe aided, the cover-up. If you believe justice matters, press that follow. Villagers deny accusations, fear retribution or scandal. Women warn each other, solidarity in silence. Church may choose peace over inquiry. Local leaders hush things. A confession is kept in private. Someone threatens someone if they speak. Think, when community values silence over truth, who wins? Comment your thoughts, even if it's uncomfortable. World War I, 1914-1918. Chaos, illness, death everywhere. Easy to hide murders. Post-war instability. Hunger, inflation, law enforcement weak. The poisonings continue, perhaps even increase. During the war, someone dies. Family thinks disease, but a secret meeting occurs late at night. Don't turn away, keep watching, because when chaos reigns, evil often hides in plain sight. Tell the story of one or two victims. Names, backgrounds, what happened. Perhaps a mother, a child, a husband. Emotional detail. Illness, decline, the moment someone realizes something is wrong. Close to revealing final piece of case. Then cut. Leave the question, did they confess? If this moved you, share it not just with friends, but maybe in your history class. Let's make sure the souls of the victims are not forgotten. Eventually, authorities get testimony, some confessions. Trials begin, names of angel makers revealed. Challenges, corruption, lack of proof, community complicity. Evidence suppressed, a defendant retracts a confession, trial delayed. Hit subscribe, follow now if you want to see how history judges them, because what verdict will come matters. What sentences were handed down? Prison, execution, acquittals. Some women received harsher punishment, others escaped. Public reaction, horror, relief, lingering fear. One convicted woman claims she was forced, others maintain innocence. Think about our legal system today. Do we do better? If you believe justice must be fair, share this message. How Nagyrév was changed, families broken, social trust damaged. Role of stigma, shame, what happened to survivors. Psychosocial effects, women who acted, women who witnessed, children left behind. Rumors that some angel makers went unpunished, fled. Reflect, when a community harms itself, healing takes generations. If you agree societies need transparency, hit like. How the stories became legend. Songs, tales, warnings mothers told daughters. Fear versus fascination, the angel makers in public imagination. A folk song references the teaspoon and people shiver, but no one howls it out loud. Tell someone about this today, because memory is the first guard against repeat. Examples globally, similar cases in other countries. What makes Nagyrév unique? Scale, social structure, women-led, invisibility. You'll learn next how Nagyrév's case reveals universal truths. If you've seen parallels in your culture, write to me. I'd love to include more stories in our next episode. Philosophical reflection. Desperation doesn't always produce monsters, but silence and oppression help. Psychological dimensions. Guilt, rationalization, moral ambiguity. One angel maker later in life regrets, but confession arrives too late. Hold on, coming up. Last testimonies, final verdicts, and what we can learn today. What happened to the perpetrators after trials? Prison terms, release, ostracism. Some may have died in shame, others possibly reintegrated. A former angel maker wrote letters. Some say she lived under another name. If justice served or failed matters to you, share this with someone who cares about truth. Stories that were rumored but never proven. Extra deaths, missing records. Families who never got closure. Some graves unmarked. Some bodies never exhumed. some names lost forever. Let's honor invisible victims. Share their stories, even those without proof, because every life counted. Could modern science verify more deaths? Possibility of forensic archaeology, toxicology. Encourage historical scholars to dig. Maybe a grave is waiting to be opened. Maybe one sample still preserved. Support historical research. If you believe facts matter, help fund or promote credible historians. How oppression still pushes people to extreme acts. Importance of speaking up, safety nets, legal recourse. The need for community oversight, rights for the vulnerable. What if we ignore warning signs around us? Think, is there injustice near you? Speak up. This story is warning, not just history. Pose questions. Would you forgive? How do victims heal? Possibly read audience comments or hypothetical scenarios. Someone suggests a shocking scenario. A family friend is the suspect. Share your questions, your stories, or fears. Let's talk openly. Darkness hides in silence. How gender roles limited women's options. Legal status of women in Hungary then. Property, divorce, violence. How that correlates with modern gender injustice. One woman murdered not just by poison, but by the law's neglect. If you support equality, if you believe all should have voice, share this message onwards. Some angel maker saw themselves as liberators. Others acted from greed or cruelty. Can evil be understandable, but still condemned? A particular case where motive and action conflict leaves you uncertain. If moral complexity intrigues you, pass this video article to someone who loves exploring truth. Doctors, local people who resisted. Neighbors who raised concerns. Journalists or officials who tried to prosecute. One doctor risked his safety, almost silenced. Celebrate courage. Share this story of resistance, often overshadowed but essential. How the angel maker's operations ended. Legal reform, social changes. Possibly the impact of modernization, shift in community oversight. Someone claims the practice never really ended, just went underground. If you think history echoes into present day, tell someone, so these stories inform us. What documents exist? Court records, police files, anthropological reports. What's missing? Many victims unrecorded, witnesses dead or silent. A record discovered in a dusty archive, but defaced. Support archival work. Historians need help and your attention to unearth truth. Was there mercy in any of the actions? Did society ever feel pity? Should punishment be harsh or restorative? A repentant angel maker requests forgiveness, but will she get it? If justice should include compassion, share that belief with others. It shapes how we judge. What children of victims or perpetrators experienced. Psychological trauma, shame, ostracization. A child grows up never knowing the truth of a mother's deed. Think about the ripple effects. Even one action can alter generations. Modern poisoning cases, serial killers, domestic abuse. How law enforcement and forensic science have advanced. In a modern case, something eerily like an old method resurfaces. Stay alert. When history covers something up, sometimes it returns in new shapes. Read quotes from trial transcripts. If available, letters or testimonies. A letter reveals striking confession, but part of it is missing. If hearing their own words moves you, share it, because voices are power. What we still don't know: exact numbers, identities, motives fully. Myths that have grown up. Exaggerations, legends, false accusations. Is one story myth or suppressed fact? Question what you hear. Research. Don't accept narratives without evidence. Why angel maker? The perverse suggestion of mercy. What language people used. How victims and killers viewed that term. Someone embraced the title. Others perhaps rejected it or feared it. If language shapes perception, be mindful what you call people. Words matter. How accountability was enforced or avoided. Role of law, media, neighbors, family. A key figure escapes accountability. Community lets it slide. Demand accountability in your society. Share when you see injustice. Are there memorials or museums in Nagyrév? Has the story been taught in schools? How is the history preserved or ignored? A memorial plaque almost vanished. Someone saved it. Encourage remembrance. If you visit Nagyrév or your own dark histories, preserve them. How evil can be normalized. The danger of turning blind eyes. Someone says, everyone in Nagyrév knew but no one did anything. Is that true? Reflect on your own community. Where are people turning away? Where can you act? Can survivors or descendants find healing? Role of truth commissions, acknowledgement. Some descendants demand an apology. A small ceremony occurs. If you believe in healing, share stories of reconciliation, not to excuse but to prevent recurrence. Enumerate warning signs. Frequent unexplained deaths, community hush, powerlessness of vulnerable. How to spot those signs in your town. You may already see those signs around you. Be vigilant. If you see patterns, report them. Don't allow silence to protect suffering. Return to one or two strong testimonies or court admissions. Perhaps a confession, a courtroom moment that turned the tide. The moment when someone finally speaks the truth, but their voice shakes. If courage matters, share this truth. Let no victim's voice be silenced again. Human rights advocacy, domestic abuse awareness, access to justice, support for vulnerable. Encourage listeners, viewers to support NGOs, history projects, open courts. The sense that though the past is past, its echoes call us. Take action now. Talk, donate, educate. Every small step helps prevent another Nagyrév. Summarize Nagyrév as warning. Final thoughts, cruelty born of silence, wickedness of ignoring voices. Inspire hope that societies can change if people speak. Though many died and many secrets still lie buried, one small whistleblower changed everything. Perhaps one voice, even yours, can do the same. If this story stays with you, let it move you. Share it. Remember the victims. Demand justice where there is none, because silence is the worst murderer of all.